Good morning.
Good morning.
In each of the Sundays of Advent, the preparation for the coming of Christ, the lessons all focus on a slightly different aspect. So last week the lessons focused on the second coming of Christ coming again at the end of time. This week the lessons all focus on the promises of what will happen when Christ comes. The lessons all gather around to say, all right, when Christ comes, what will happen? What will that be like? And so the lessons, they're lessons that contain promises, they're lessons that say God is going to be in the business of helping us out. So as we prepare for the coming of Christ, then we say, yeah, I can run the risk of doing that because Christ is the one who is coming to help out with that process. So that's what our worship service will be about for today. Take a moment to say good morning to each other. The Word of God came to John in the wilderness. There is perhaps a play on words here that only shows up in Greek. The word for word is not the usual word for word, logos, but it is the word phrema. The phrema shows up in the wilderness, phremos. And it's possibly saying the word shows up where there are no words. What kind of wilderness is this? What kind of deserted place are we talking about? Luke lays it out for us. He says in the 15th year of the reign of Tiberius, when Herod, the son of Herod the Great, is living in Trachonitis, and his brother Philip is in Iturea and some other places, and so on and so forth, and the high priests Annas and Caiaphas are functioning, then this word comes. Well, what does that all mean? If we were to translate it, or if we would get Luke to write this at this point in our history, what Luke has done, he has described all of the political realities of what was going on in the world at the time. The emperor was the one who was ruling. That meant we are under the control of the Roman Empire. We have some puppet kings, Herod and Philip, and we have some high priests who are basically doing what Rome wants them to do, and so we're in a mess. To say that in our own language today, we would say, when Hamid Karzai was president in Afghanistan, and when we had the president of Iraq and Iran and North Korea, and when everybody's trying to figure out how to solve these world problems and the economy is in a mess, and when the Democrats say you need to do it this way and the Republicans say no, you've got to do it this way, then, well, why? What needs to happen? Have we ever figured out what, with all of those political realities, how to solve problems? Has that ever been a solution? What happens, as we saw again this last week, the solution to military problems is to throw more military might at it. So we will send 30,000 more troops to Afghanistan. That's what generals always do. Bigger and better armies will crush all opposition. And what we do in all wars is some of them will be killed, some children in some families, some husbands, fathers, and children will die, and some husbands, fathers, and children, in this day and age, women, will die on our side. If that's not a wilderness, if that's not a pit that we can't dig ourselves out of, I don't know what one is. And if we add to that, Luke is not here talking about our personal problems. He will get into dealing with people's diseases as he goes through his book. But we could say, sometimes the wilderness, those places without words, those indescribable situations, come because we have messed up. So we end up with those situations where we go through divorces in our families because somehow or other the promises that we made, the plans that we had, the ideas that we could make this relationship with this particular person could make that work, and it didn't. Sometimes it's because we did, I should have, but I didn't. Why didn't I? I don't know why I didn't do what I didn't do. Other times it's stuff happens to us. Sometimes it's an accident on the road in a car. Sometimes it's a disease. And you ask the doctor, what did I do? Where did I get this? And the doctor has to say, we don't know. We don't know exactly where it comes from. We know what it does. And we have those feelings of, oh no, not now. And in some cases that means we have only a limited amount of time to live, either we or someone we love. And that too is a hole we cannot dig our way out of.